Talk to you guys real quick about some paint masking must-haves here. One of the cool things is with the masking is these new masking machines back when years ago. I'll show you what the old ones used to look like when I've been doing this for 35 years. So I remember what the old ones were. The other guys today may not even know what they look like, and I'll show you what they look like real quick. This is probably a 50-year-old masking machine. I still use it in my little hobby shop when I'm just playing around at the house. But this is what they used to be like, and you'd put your paper on. You always had paper. They didn't have film like they do today. And you put your paper on, you'd pull this here, and that was the way that you pulled your paper down. You just rip off a piece and go put it on the house. And that was what you had. You usually had that sitting on a stand outside in front of the job, and that was the way you did it back in the old days. Now I just hang it on the wall, and I use it for little stuff around the house when I'm doing stuff in my hobby shop. So let me get back to these things here. Pretty much, this is one of the alternative masking machines. I've used both of them. And I mean, this one's great for paper, but for the film, it's just weird. The angle of the handle compared to the angle you have with this one, you lose that control that you need for the film. It's weird. It just doesn't have the same balance as this angle. It's hard to say because the film is kind of hard to tear. So the 3M one pretty much is the way to go. They're really expensive. Okay, these are $50 each. This one's like $25. So if you want one for just doing paper, you know, it'd be kind of good to get the cheaper one for that, which is this professional masker here. It's not designed, you know, the things that like this fits on the ladder rung hole. There's a lot of things that this distance and everything is set up for that this one is not. So it is kind of handy. I like this masker for doing paper. So that's one of the things. I don't know what the brand is. Let me look. QM Professional MP Masking Products. I just got it at a show. It's out of Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, so but I thought it was kind of cool. I use that. But here's what I always use here. I use either 3M brand hand masker film, or they have a red label one that has better static. And so if you use that one, you might like that one a little bit better. Has better static, and it also some of the paints adhere to it that might peel off of this one and fall back into your. I rarely ever have that happen because I'm usually mask my windows off, and I'm on the other side of the house, and I unmask that side that I was on quickly. I don't leave my stuff up. Like, I hate when somebody masks off someone's house and they leave the windows masked up for 3 or 4 days. It's like, you know, people live in that house, guy. You know, I mean, they got to deal with that masking paper on their window, masking, you know, you can't see out their windows. That's moronic. I don't even understand that. So, if you are leaving your masking up for a couple of days, there's times when you have to do it. Use the 3M blue tape. It's a little more expensive. Does help. Falls off easier though. So typically I will use, if you're in California and there is a Dunn Edwards store near you, this orange tape is a pretty nice happy medium. It's just their house brand. It's probably made by Intertape or something like that. And then they just have them make it all orange for them. But it's actually a little bit better than some of the 3M. I like it because the paper is a little bit thicker. The 3M white tape, the paper is really, really thin that they put it on now. It didn't used to be that way. Over the years, they've evolved. They've, figured out ways to save money and keep the cost of the tape down. So they compromised on the thickness of the paper. But this stays on really nice. However, you can't even really leave it overnight. If you do, It better be a warm day, because the next day, if it's cold, you're going to be getting tape residue everywhere. So don't leave it up overnight. But if you're just like I do, I mask the side. I'll mask the side of the house, paint that side of the house, then I move to the next. There's no reason for me to have all the windows masked off for 2 or 3 days, because I'm done. I finished that side. Other guys will go and paint all over the place. I mean, I just freak out on that, especially when you're doing commercial. You're doing commercial and you have a shopping center with masking all over everybody's windows for a week. Look how much those businesses losing money. It's just ridiculous. You guys are screwing up people's lives here. So anyway, 3M. The other one that I use that's really good. Let me see if I can find one. Okay, so the other one I use a lot that's really good is this here, Trimaco. I actually like it a little bit better than the 3M. It's a little bit thicker film than the black. It doesn't have as much static. The thing the static is for is when you pull it down, you mask your window off and you pull it down, the static holds it against the glass. Now, that seems like kind of crazy, but when it's holding against the glass and there's a little tiny bit of wind, you can still run your tape before the wind comes and rips it back off. So that's one of the benefits of static in your film. Let me see if I've got one of these things set up. Okay, so this is how this stuff goes on. You use the masker, you put it in place, the blade cuts it nicely on the edge. So if you were covering a window, let's see if I've got something I can do that with. Sorry guys, I'm doing this with one hand. This is my truck window, okay, not the house. Let's just pretend it's a house real quick. And you had this completely covered your whole glass. You have this edge, so you have this edge ahead. See how there's not as much static in this one. The 3M would hold against the glass a little bit better. There's a little bit of static though. See how it kind of holds against the glass? A little bit of wind right now. Then what you do is you just run your tape along here and around here, and then you trim the bottom off and just run your tape there. The thing that's really cool is the stuff trims really easy. You don't even need something sharp. You can usually just scribe it with something, a putty knife or whatever. And if you're a painter, you should have a putty knife in your pocket, by the way. Scribe with your putty knife and it cuts it pretty nicely, and just rip it and then just put your tape around your window. You got your windows all masked off in minutes. So the brand I prefer is Trimaco. 3M is really good too, but you are going to pay more for the name 3M. And this is a little less expensive, and the plastic's a little bit thicker. My favorite is Trimaco, and they make all your paper and stuff like that too. So I think that covers it. Most of the stuff for your masking demo and how that you cover your windows up, all your pavement, stuff like that, you can use cardboard shields. Show you how that works. Use a cardboard shield. If you have your spray rig set up the way I showed you in my other video, you can literally use just a cardboard shield like this to cover your ground. That way you're not creating an ecological footprint of all those materials that you're using to cover up, and you have to throw that all in the garbage, and that ends up in a landfill, and then we end up with too much stuff in our landfills. So these cardboard things can be recycled. This one's kind of gotten wet, but I'll shove it up tightly against the wall, paint my wall, go around at the end with a brush, touch up. There's always a little bit of touch up. Some guys don't like to touch up, so they want to mask everything and then spray. But you need to learn how to cut your paint a little bit and do your touch up. Those guys, I just figure they just never learned. I've been doing this for my whole life. I learned from journeymen. I learned from guys that made millions of dollars painting, and they're all dead now, unfortunately. And I thought, you know what, before I die, I don't have anybody to teach this stuff to, so I better show it to somebody. Figure I'd just show it to YouTube, let you guys have at it. Hopefully somebody learns from this. All right, guys. I'll catch you on the next video. I'm doing tons of videos on painting the right way, getting fast at it, showing you shortcut techniques. The only things I'm not going to show you are how to paint metallics paint and stuff like that, because that's how I make my money right now. So that would be pretty stupid for me to show you all those things. But I'm going to show you a lot of the stuff that I don't do that much anymore. Paint houses, I don't do that much. I mean, I'll still do house, but I don't do like I used to, because it's a pain in the ass, and I just don't like to drive around and do all the estimates. That's a big thing. You know, drive around, go to an estimate, and they go, oh yeah, well, I got a price for $200 less, you know, and it's like, you're really going to gamble with $2,000 on painting your house for $200. You're going to put you're going to take $2,000, put it on the roulette table to save $200. I mean, that's a bad gambling habit there. You take $2,000, put it on the roulette table, I'll gamble with that, and then I might save $200. It's like, what an idiot. That's what people do today. So it's frustrating. So I just don't do a lot of estimates. I just do referrals and mostly commercial stuff, because that's what keeps me busy. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.